thirst. You're still going to drink the water of freedom, the water that is going to give you the freedom to live for Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Right now, it's free. There's going to be a day that you didn't have the chance to make things right. People of God, tonight we are blessed. We are blessed to have a wonderful gentleman with us. Somebody who we all knew growing up, a little boy, and today he's a big man. We are blessed to have Dr. Jeff Amoako with us here. Doc, you are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for joining us here on Echoes of Grace. Have you ever watched Holy Hills Radio before?
I've watched a couple of the interviews.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, that's good. That's good. We are happy you take time to watch us. Tonight we'll be talking about a whole lot of stuff. First of all, tonight is Mother's Day, so what would you say about your mom?
I want to say a big happy Mother's Day to my mom. She's working right now.
What's her name?
Cecilia, Miss Cecilia Trumesi. Happy Mother's Day. If you're watching, listening, you know, all the sacrifices that you've done over the years for us, all the love, the prayers. You know, she'll be up at night praying while we're sleeping, and all the talks, all the lectures, everything. It didn't fall on deaf ears. You know, we hope that from myself and my brothers as well, hope that we made you proud, and just really want to say Happy Mother's Day to her.
Wow. That's emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before I even go ahead with the other questions, I know you lost your dad growing up, and how did you cope, and how did that motivate you in life?
So I lost my dad when I was 9 years old.
9 years.
Yeah, so back in 2002. Honestly, so I remember everything. I remember when I walked in and they told me, you know, the story of, or just what happened. First, I remember they gave me an egg. I don't know why I remember that egg.
They gave you an egg.
An egg, yeah.
What was that going to do?
I don't know. I didn't know if it was tradition or stuff. But for some reason, when certain things in your life happen, you just remember everything about what goes on. So I remember, and then everyone started crying, and then I just started crying, and yeah. So I mean, since then, I think it was difficult initially, I would say, just because there would be some times when you're just sitting there, and then you're just kind of dazed, and you're just out of the moment. You're not really thinking straight. You're not really yourself. But I think that over time, I think time has been really helpful. Has been really, really big in helping like heal wounds, I would say. Initially, it was hard to talk about, but it's something that I'm really open, and I'm really free to talk about with anyone who has like any questions or anything like that. And I think that also, like my mom, she's been really big in keeping like the family really close together as well too. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was your dad part of the reason you went to medical school?
Yeah, so he was. So initially, I always wanted to go to medical school. Definitely, when he died, I wanted to help other people, people who are sick. I really wanted to be able to be a source of positivity, you know, and that's one of the reasons. So I wanted to do emergency medicine, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do emergency medicine, because when you're in an emergency room, no one goes to the emergency room on a good day. No one is happy to go to the emergency room.
Right.
No one is like, let's go there for fun. You know, people. It's usually a really bad day for some people to go there. So while they're there on their bad day, on their worst days, I want to help people, you know, while they're going through a difficult time in their life.
Wow. Yeah. Your mom must be very proud of you.
Yeah.
Wow. Auntie Adelaide Asante, that is my mom and Miss Sewa from Cincinnati. She says, "Good evening, son. Hi, hi, Dr. Jeff. It's Auntie Sewa, Cincinnati. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much."
Wow. Everybody is proud of you. And I knew you were part of Trumpet of Christ. How did that impact you?
Auntie Ivy and the Trumpet of Christ was just so big in my life. Well, first of all, I'm not a singer, and that's not my ministry. But it's not even about the fact that you're singing or not singing or whatnot. I think it's just more so that, you know, bringing a group of kids together, and helping them to achieve something together, there'd just be so many times where we would look forward to like singing at a convention or, singing at, in front of everyone and stuff like that. I think it gave people something to do on Saturday.
At least.
Yeah, it gave you something to do on Saturday. You're not doing something that you shouldn't be doing. You're at church. You're listening to gospel music. You're learning gospel music. So for me personally, it's not necessarily actual singing, but what it did for me outside of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that means it has had positive impact. So what are you going to tell those people who are not part of it now?
To part of Trumpet of
Trumpet
Christ.
of Christ, yeah.
I think if you're a parent, you should definitely consider putting your kids into the Trumpet of Christ, especially when they're young, and have them kind of grow into it. Sometimes when I'm at church and I'm watching them perform, and they were performing at the Easter Convention actually, and I was just so amazed because I was like, there's no way I could do that job that Auntie Ivy does, and anyone who's been the choir director, especially of kids, so many kids of so many different ages and stuff like that. The kids all learn to grow together and they become friends and things of that nature. So I think that if you're not in Trumpet of Christ, you should definitely get into the Trumpet of Christ. I think it's really something that's important for your development as a kid.
That's good. That's good. I know medical school is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to graduate at this tender age,
Mm-hmm.
how were you able to stay focused with all the distractions that we have? How were you able to keep your focus and come to this stage?
I think that for me personally, I think that it comes two ways. I think the first part is that there's internal focus, internal motivation, internal drive to succeed and to do well, and fear of failure.
Fear of failure is very important. Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
it's one thing that keeps me going.
Yeah, and then the other part is that when you're in medical school, you're around people who are very, very smart. They're the cream of the crop. They're the top. They're all valedictorians. They're all very smart people. So you wanna keep up with them. It's not, our school isn't competitive, but you want to show that I belong, that I'm here, like. And then also the last part about it is your future patients too. So everything that you're learning in medical school, or most things that you're learning, you're going to use in the future to help someone. So it's not that you're learning something for no reason. It's actually going to help someone someday. So that's also a really, really big reason why that keeps you focused in what you're learning on a day-to-day basis.
Wow.
Yeah.
For those who join us, this is Holy Health Radio. The program is Echoes of Grace, and tonight we have our own Dr. Jeff Amoako here. He's telling us stories about how he went through medical school and that side of his life. And so which area did you specialize in medicine?
So I chose emergency medicine.
Emergency medicine. And why emergency medicine? You want money?
No, it's not about the money. I think if you want money, you shouldn't go into medicine. But I chose emergency medicine because of the work that you do. I think that, like I said, you're working with people who are just having a really bad day and you really want to help them. For me, I really like emergencies. I like seeing anything and everything. So you can see a headache in one room. The next room is a homeless person. The next room is like a U.S. senator or something like that. The next room is someone who got in a fight. So it's, you're seeing something different, new, and you're always being challenged. I also like challenges as well, too. So you're always being challenged every single shift, every single person that you see. So
you don't like simple things.
I like challenges.
And are you not scared? I mean, dealing with people with blood, people whose bodies have been torn apart, and people. I mean, are you not?
No,
scared?
I not that I prefer, but like it gets me going. Like I don't like sitting down and just writing all day. I like getting up and doing things with my hands and talking to people and seeing different things. And I think that's why emergency medicine fits me so well.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. And I mean, how has your faith impacted you all through medical school? I mean, you've been in school for about 9 years after high school. Wow, that was a long time. Yes. How has your faith kept you focused?
Yeah. I think that in college it's really important, even in medical school too. but because when you move away from your parents and you're by yourself in like a college environment, there's no one there who can tell you what to do. There's no one there to say, hey, go shower, go do this, go read your Bible, go do this. You're by yourself. So everything that you've learned from when you were young, it's like a test. Everything you've learned can now be applied into your life.
Reality.
And how you do it's all 100% based off of you. So I think that it keeps you grounded, and it keeps you're able to pick out, who to stay away from, people who are, good friends, people who, maybe you shouldn't kind of communicate with them as much or whatever the case may be. But I think that's for me at least, that's the biggest thing that's really helped me in terms of my faith.
Wow.
In school.
Was there a time that you were tempted to quit? Because I know it hasn't been very easy like that, as easy as it looks.
In medical school, I never I never wanted to quit in medical school, but in undergrad, there was a couple times when I was like, I don't think medicine is for me. And what happened was that I was having like a really difficult week that week, and I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. It's 4 more years after I graduate college, and then 3 more years after of training or whatnot. It sounds like it's too much.
Too much.
It's too much. So then what I did was I started looking up other like job type things that I could do. This is when I'm in school. I'm in college still.
Okay.
And I looked up a whole bunch of different job things, and I even started applying to other I even started applying. And then I remember, so I called my mom and I told her, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I want to do something shorter or easier. I want to go to like PA school or something like that. And my mom said that, okay, I'll let you talk to one of my good friends in New York. And I talked to him on the phone, and he was like, Jeffrey, I know that, you want to pick something easier, but think of the end of the line. Like these short years that you're sacrificing now will be worth it, way down. So don't look at the now, look at the big picture. And I think that phone conversation I had with him was really powerful for me, because it got me thinking, what's one extra year if, in the long term,
right.
What's another 2 years in the long term. So I don't necessarily think about the years in terms of medical school, because it's, like you said, 9 years since high school. That's a long time. And so now that I'm done, it feels like it came by fast, but
right.
Sometimes while you're in it, it feels like it's going so slow, but when you're done, you're like, wow.
Then you become proud of yourself, right? And at medical school, you are mixing up with intellectuals and all kind of people who really don't believe in religion. They don't see religion. Some of them don't even believe in God at all. Has there been temptation for you to give up on your Christian faith?
No, and I think that's just a product of the environment that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. When you're young, you go to church because your parents are going to church. But over time, you start to kind of develop your own relationship with Christ. And I've never felt like I needed to give up on my religion or anything like that. If anything, I think that medical school has made me think that I need to, be even stronger in my faith, because, sometimes you think about the human body and how complex it is. You're just like, how can you?
Yeah. How can you believe that it came by itself?
Yeah, it's just everything is just so well structured and everything. So.
And sometimes I don't understand some of these people. Common sense should tell you that there's a God somewhere. How? The whole thing is so organized. Mm-hmm. If it was by accident, it shouldn't be as organized as it is. Mm-hmm. Even human life, the letter that we can even see, the ordinary man can see, how the human mind even works, how you can remember stuff and all that. And this shows it's spiritual. Mm-hmm. It shows, those who are going through those kind of stuff are in some kind of spiritual bondage. Mm-hmm. And that's why we need to pray. Yeah. Pray. And you said you have a praying mom too.
Oh yeah.
That played, because you could have been convinced by somebody. Yeah. Some professor could have come in and told you this one was worked by. You see, Darwin said that some Big Bang, and then so and so, and probably could have been convinced, and then giving up on your Christian faith, but the prayer worked. Wow. And were you a prayerful person yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, I've always not like my mom. My
Oh,
mom,
yeah.
I mean, my mom, she's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. She is,
Wow.
she's praying. So I mean, I'm not on her level by no means, but I still, every single day, short prayers here and there. Like before you go to work in the morning, you just pray real quick, like, God, anybody that I meet today, let you work through me, so that I can be healing hands to my patients, and so yeah, so not like my mom, but like I still try to hold my own.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're aspiring to be like your mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And do you get time? Do you make time to read your Bible?
Yeah. So I would say that it's difficult. To be honest with you, it's difficult just because, especially in school, it's just about like time. But I think that what's important is time management and how you kind of block out your time for certain things that are important to you.
Right.
That's not to say that it can't be done, but I would say that it's a little bit more difficult just because, I mean, there are some days, I'll be honest with you, there's some days where I wake up, I study the entire day, I eat, I shower, study the rest of the day, and then I go to sleep. Like that's the entire day. Especially when I'm taking like boards and stuff like that. So like it can be trying at times,
Yeah.
but
Making time.
yeah, that's what I would say is the hard part about everything in school is making time for things.
And talking about reading your Bible, what is your favorite Bible verse?
So my favorite would be Hebrews. It would be like the whole chapter of Hebrews, but I specifically like Hebrews 11:1. It
Faith.
talks about faith, yeah. But then the rest of the chapter gives examples about how different people have been
Challenged.
by faith, yeah, by faith. And I think that my life personally has been like, if I were to use two words to describe my life, it would probably be faith and favor, because I mean, I have like so many stories of things that, that shouldn't have went my way, but somehow, some way, like, I went out on a limb. I went out by faith. Turns out that, things just came in perfect and just worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your mother's prayer.
Yeah.
You said so many things.
Yeah.
Give me two.
Like two examples of.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see. So the first one. Let me see which one.
Yeah, so many.
Yeah. No. So let me put it this way. So the place that I'm going to right now for training. So the process in terms of where you go, it's a really complicated process, but you're applying for an interview, you're applying for a job. So you apply to all these different places that you want to go to. And the place that I wanted to end up at, initially I was waitlisted. So they had already filled up their the people that they were going to interview. So I was waitlisted. And then, so one day I was at a different interview actually, and I was like, I really enjoyed this program, the one that I want to go to. So I said, let me email them real quick. So I emailed one of the coordinators, and I said, I'm really interested in your program. I really like what you have to offer. Can you tell me the dates that you have available for interviews, just so I can clear my schedule if anything opens up? It was just, just a email just to see what would happen. And then she emailed me back, and she said, just because, you were so, you came out
Right.
and emailed me, we're going to offer you an interview right now, like whatever date is open. And that's where I ended up.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where I ended up.
Wow.
So, I mean, that.
So many things.
Yeah.
Give me another one.
Another one. So, so I don't know if you've heard of like the MCAT.
I think so.
You've heard the. So it's a medical college admissions test.
It's like the Pinto will know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an admissions test that you take to go into medical school. So like I said, so I did 4 years of college, and then I had taken the MCAT 2 times, but I didn't do as well as I wanted to. It was okay, but it wasn't great. But something told me still apply. Just apply with the score that you have. So I applied, and I got into 2 schools. I was able to get into 2 medical schools.
Wow.
But then I also got the Ohio State post-backlit program. So it's like a post-bac program in which you take a year of classes, and then once you complete requirements, a certain GPA and a certain score, then you can go into medical school. So I have two guaranteed acceptances, and then there's Ohio State, which is like a maybe, a possibly.
Right.
So, I mean, normally probably people would probably pick the one that's a guaranteed acceptance, but I was like, there's something about Ohio State that I really, I really feel like, if I go out on faith, if I go out on a limb, that, I think that I would be better here. So, I delayed the other ones, and I did the post bac program, and in this program you have one chance to take this test, the entrance test, just one chance, and you have to have a certain score. So my friends and I went to take the test, and then during the test day, we had studied for like 5-6 months for this test. Like, we're staying up until 1 a.m. We're studying really hard, and then finally the test day comes, and as we're taking the test, the computer starts like shutting down on us. Yeah.
Wow.
And we're, every time we would click next, the time that the time of the test would go down more than it was supposed to. So instead of going down like 1 second, it would go down like 30 seconds. So every single time you push next, like, you're cutting a lot of time off. So we talked to the coordinators. We're like, what's going on? Like, how is this happening? We have one chance to pass this test. This is the day that...
One chance.
Yeah, this is the day that this is happening. And they're saying, oh, it's a server issue. All of the eastern half of the United States are dealing with this issue. But, I mean, that doesn't matter. Like, this is our one chance to take this test. I mean, but still, by the grace of God, we all still passed. We all still did better than we needed to. And because of that, that's how I ended up at Ohio State.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So God has been good. Yeah. And, I mean, some of these things, if you could explain, then it could have been by your efforts. Yeah. But God does certain things in our life. And that is why sometimes you agree with me. That is why sometimes God allows us to go into tough situations. Otherwise, how is he going to demonstrate his power? Yeah. I believe that every Christian will come to his Red Sea, just like the Israelites. If you are going to follow God, he's going to put you in some uncomfortable position, and then he's going to get you out. And that becomes your testimony. Look at the guy in John chapter 9. He says, I was blind, but now I see. And you could obviously see that people who had doctorate in divinity, doctorate in legalism, they couldn't challenge him, because this is somebody who is talking from experience. So even though you might be a professor in whatever field, if somebody has experience, he's better than you, because he knew that he was blind. Now he can see. So he doesn't need anybody to lecture him. He can just outwit you when it comes to argument. So I always say the man with experience is not at the mercy of the man with an argument. Somebody who has experienced God. So this one is your experience. Right now, if somebody should come and try to convince you, there's nothing the person can tell you, because you've really tasted, you've touched, you've had, hands on how to really, how God can take people from one glory to, we are so proud of you as a church, and we are proud of you also as friends. Have you considered being a mentor? Or for instance, my nephew, AJ Somua, my niece, Rachel Pinto, they are just on the verge of going to school. Have you considered being a mentor to some of these young ones?
Yeah, that's one of the passions that I have also too.
Right.
When I was in medical school, we had a program called ND Camp. If you're a high schooler, I think that you should definitely apply to it. So it's like a program where high school students who are interested in medicine specifically, and who are very smart, they have really good test taking abilities, but they may not have the resources necessarily, or they may not know doctors, they may not have doctors in their family, kind of like me growing up. They're able to come to Ohio State. These are high school students. They apply. They stay at Ohio State for about 3 weeks, 3 weeks or so. They take medical classes just like we do. They see patients, like fake patients, just like we do. They learn how to talk to patients. They work with cadavers, so like dead bodies, and they see like real human organs and all of that.
Wow.
So it's a program that I was involved in, that I really, really liked, and I think that I really like working with the youth in terms of people who want to come into medicine, because there's such a minorities in medicine is so there needs to be more. Like, there needs to be more minorities in medicine. Your patients, will appreciate if you look like your doctor. If your doctor looks like you, And I think that, I mean, it's difficult sometimes when you're in class and, you know, you're the only one that looks like yourself. And I think that, you know, we need to push more of us towards medicine, and just try to kind of, or get more people in medicine and make it more diverse, kind of like the country looks like overall.
Yeah, but Holy Hills Radio, I'll be talking to my boss. We should start. I mean, we have plans to start mentorship program, and we would love you to be part of it. At
Absolutely.
least not just for those who are studying medicine.
Mm-hmm.
People need to be motivated.
Yeah.
It's not easy to stay focused.
Yeah.
Life can be very challenging, whereby you go and write an exam and you fail. An exam that you thought probably were going to do well, and then you fail. Because I'm very passionate when it comes to the youth. You know that already, right? So we should find ways of being there. At least if somebody sees you, he hears the name Amoako, knows a Ghanaian minority who has, I mean, been able to achieve it. And I heard you achieved it with distinction. I mean, you did very well.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So I mean, take it very seriously, and let's help the youth. Talking about helping the youth, why is it that at least a good number of them are not able to stay on target? You see the person studying, let's say, business administration, and next time he's into psychology. And next, I mean, why are people not able to just stay focused? Some of them even drop out entirely.
I think one of the biggest reasons why is, I mean, it's. I don't think you can point to one single reason why. I think that mentorship is one of the biggest reasons why. Seeing someone who is where you want to be,
Right.
And asking them, how can I get to where you are? Or how can I even get past you? How can I even, you know, do better than what you were able to accomplish? Having that proper mentorship, I think, is really important, and I think that when you come into college, not everyone has that initially. So, you know, you're a little bit confused about what you want to do. You know, I don't know if I want to do business, or I want to start pre-med, or I want to do nursing, or this and this and that. Along the same lines, I think that time management is something. If there was one
Time
skill
management
that
is
I
big.
learned, it's huge. It's so big, especially in college. I think that's what separates like a high school student from like an adult, like how to manage your time. Because I mean, when you're in high school, for me at least, when I'm in high school, I go to school, I come home, I play sports, whatever. I come home, that's it. Like I can do my homework in like 10 minutes, and I can even do it at school. So I come home and I have the entire rest of the day to myself, so I don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
But when you're in college, like I said, you know, there's no one there. You go to school, and you may have the rest of the day to yourself, but you need to review what you learned earlier.
Right.
You need to review what you learned in other classes. You need to review what you're learning for the next class. There's so many things that you need to do, but you don't realize that. So I think that time management skills is something that you learn in college, and because sometimes people learn it a little bit too late, and they're not at that time.
They would have made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm so big on you mentoring some of the young ones we have. I mean, their parents, their uncles might talk, but sometimes they feel like uncles and parents talk too much.
They just talk.
Yeah, so they don't. Yeah, they don't really listen. Yeah, so people like you who are there, and I mean, you would even be able to relate to them better, having gone to this, I mean, high school, and you know some of the how they are even thinking. Yeah, so at least. Being part of a mentorship thing would really help, at least on email basis. If it's not call, I know you are such a busy person, so please pick it up, and help the young one, because most of them, they go to school and staying focused, staying right on track. It's not easy, even for adults. I mean, keeping focused, like you're talking about time management, it's so hard. Sometimes you are distracted. You pick your book, and there's NBA. You watch it a little bit. You go to social media. You come here. It's not easy. So talking about that, how are you influencing your younger siblings? Because now you are looking at you as a big brother.
They probably think I'm annoying, but like, they probably think I'm annoying. But I mean, I think it's just, you know, staying on them, making sure that they're on target, checking in with them. I think is just really important, because I think that sometimes as parents, or specifically Ghanaian parents, because you're working so hard, you're working 2 jobs, maybe 3 jobs, you're not able to always catch up or realize what your children are doing, you know, what they're up to, what struggles they're going on with in school.
Exactly.
It may not even be academic. It may be with friends.
Emotional.
It may be emotional, maybe social, maybe mental, psychological. Just asking those questions, just being present, I guess, is one of the biggest things that I think that parents can do for their kids right now. Just, hey, I know you had a test coming up or something. How did that go? Just talking to them, having small conversations like that. It helps them open up a little bit more to you about, some of the difficulties that they're going with as well too.
Wow.
And I think that also, so I think that like everyone has a different gift, and I think that helping them, being supportive of what their gift is, I think is also very.
You're not trying to push them into medicine.
Yeah, not because medicine. To be honest with you, medicine isn't for everyone, and medicine isn't something that you can just like pick up and say, "I'm just gonna go into medicine and just do it." It's such a lifelong commitment, and it's so delayed. The gratification is so delayed.
Right.
Like I'm 26, I haven't had like a job yet. I mean, I've had summer jobs, but not a real job. A lot of my friends, married, have kids, or starting to have kids and stuff like that. So there are a lot of things that you push back when you're doing medicine, that you have to kind of realize ahead of time what you're getting yourself into. But not everyone is destined to do medicine. Not everyone is supposed to do nursing. I can't do what a nurse does. A nurse can't do what I do.
Really? You can't do what a nurse does?
I can't do what a nurse does. I can't do what a pharmacist does. We're just like what they study and what they do is just so different. So their gifts is not necessarily my gifts.
Right.
So with parents, I think it's important to support whatever gifts they have, but not necessarily. You can push them somewhere, but not necessarily force them that way. You can kind of help them, but let them make mistakes as long as you're there to kind of catch them and help them.
Right.
Overall.
You don't have to stress them to do something because you wish. That is what you wish. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I mean, we are going to make the mentorship thing a very big thing, at least on email basis, and we will be linking you up with some of the names. So if you see any emails coming from them, then you know it's the Holy Health link, and Rachel, AJ, and all those people. And apart from that, you mentor them when it comes to, social life. It's not just academic. Sometimes some of us, when we talk, they feel like,
you don't understand.
You people, they just get bored with you. And they feel like, oh, Ghana, they're now the Baha. You think we are in Ghana? You think we are in Ghana? We are here in America, so please. So I understand. So you people will be more you'll be more influential than some of us can be to them. And Holy Health will pick that up and bring in more professionals, link them with some of these youth. So it's going to be a really big thing. Bishop Honorable Carrington says, please, the name is Dr. Jeff Owusu Amoako. Is that true?
That's another name, yeah.
Because he is also Owusu, so you want to make sure. Okay, and he says, may God continue to be with you. Okay. Any last words before we wrap up? Because I'm going to have another blockbuster interview. We are going to talk about rapture. We are going to talk about judgment. We are going to talk about so many deep stuff. And we have our own King David. King David, I know he's getting ready. It's going to be fireworks. So tell a friend to join us. It's going to be scary because there's a lot of things that is going to expose to us tonight. So watch out for part 2 of our interview. Any final words, please?
No, thank you for having me. Also, I just want to say thank you. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. All the mothers, grandmothers, who are all very appreciated. Any student that is, wanting to go into medicine, just use me as an inspiration. I'm not the type of person that likes attention. More reserved, more quiet, but just the reception that I've received throughout this entire process has been really overwhelming. And I'm starting to realize more that it's bigger than me. It's not what I want, but I'm starting to realize that, I'm like more of like a face to help other people, a source of inspiration for someone.
Like the Indians, you can have Dr. Patel like 100.
Yeah.
Just Dr. Patel. Yeah. I don't know why Dr. the Patels like to be doctors. Because they encourage each other. Yeah. They encourage people. They push. And that is one thing Ghanaians should pick up. Yeah. And Holy Hills, we are going to pick it up. I'm serious. Absolutely. We are really going to pick it up where we will not be at the forefront. You guys are going to be at the forefront. Yeah. Like you, David, and all those kind of young people who are coming up. You just link them up with people. You shouldn't necessarily be in the same field, but the ability to let them know that it can happen.
Yeah. Just to see someone do it. It's just really helpful.
Yeah. So, Dr. Amoako, Dr. Owusu Amoako, we are so appreciative. God bless you so much. God bless you so much. And may God take you from glory to glory. This is Holy Health Radio. The program is Echoes of Grace. My name is Elder Beston Homerisoma. Mucho gracias, amigos. See you next week.